Hey guys, welcome back to the wonderful world of Remnant Radio. My name is Joshua Lewis, and in this program, my good friend Michael Miller is interviewing some of his friends from Austria, and they have a tremendous testimony of being healed of sickness, but also being delivered of demonic powers. And we hope that this video can help encourage and build up and strengthen your faith in the power of Jesus that operates in our present day. And if you're out there and you want to grow in these things yourself, you want to learn how to pray for the sick, how to cast out demons, I want to very much encourage you to come to our conference in Houston, Texas. It's going to be October 2nd through the 4th there in the Woodlands, right outside of Houston. And man, it's going to be a great opportunity to learn from some dynamic speakers, engage with some powerful worship, receive prayer ministry for yourself, but also in the how-to workshops of practicing these things for yourself in your own local church, in your own community and city where you live. So if that's something that's interesting to you, and you want to get access to that early bird discount, run over there to theremnantradio.com, sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get a promo code for the early bird discount there at the conference at theremnantradio.com. So without further ado, let me toss it over to my good friend, Michael Miller, for this powerful testimony.
Hey, you guys. I have mentioned a few times that I got to go this last summer. You saw me recording from overseas in Europe. I went to Greece, I went to Austria, I went to Germany. And I had several amazing things happen with my wife and I, friends of ours that we got to pray with who experienced deliverance and freedom and even healing. And I thought it'd be really awesome to share some of these testimonies with you. So that said, I have a couple of friends on the line with me. This is Markus and Iris. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and how we met.
Yeah. So I'm Iris, that's Markus, my husband. We're from Austria, and we met Michael last year in Latvia at a conference.
That's right. And how did you guys, how did y'all end up in Latvia? What drew you there all the way from Austria?
Well, I've been listening to Remnant Radio for quite a long time, and I heard that you were doing conferences in Europe, and so I just looked up your schedule, and I found out that you were going to be in Latvia, and then we went there.
Okay, she said we will go, and I joined her.
You said I joined her because you didn't want to go. You were just like following your wife on something she wanted to do.
Right?
You got to explain your disposition.
Yeah, I didn't know actually what was happening there in detail. So I was curious and skeptical too. So.
Now, when you say skeptical, does that mean like you believed that God was still doing things, you were a continuationist, and you believed in deliverance ministry, but you were just skeptical of it? Or was it more just like, no, I don't think any of this stuff is happening today, and this is like probably, this could be a con?
So we're from a church where we don't even talk about those things. And I think, or I believe that Jesus or God is doing still things now, but I never thought about this deliverance thing because it was quite new. And I was skeptical because I never heard of it. And so I thought, okay, where is it in the Bible? And how can you give such a theological proof, or, you can make sure that this is that is in God's word. So I was skeptical about that. And so we came to Latvia, and I heard you talking, and then said, okay, well, that makes sense. And let's try this.
All right. And so both of you got prayer for deliverance while you were there. Markus, why don't you share what happened with you first?
So in there was one session where you were talking about unforgiveness and anger, and you said, okay, if someone's here who got a problem with that, come forward and I'll pray for you. And I could relate to that thing, and I got a person in my life where that's a big thing with unforgiveness. And there always also were a occasion where this person lied to me, and where I get really angry at this person and furious, and that was the first time. And since then, I had a problem with my anger, especially when it comes to the kids. And so, okay, I came forward and I received prayer, and something happened.
Do you mind telling me? I'm sure. I know this is probably hard to share because it's like nobody wants to talk about a disproportionate amount of anger or how that was expressed on even their family. But I would love to hear, Iris, if you don't mind, what was your experience of Markus when it came to anger?
I guess it was sometimes when he got angry, that's what he also says himself, that he had this feeling of, I can't control it anymore. I mean, he's never been, I don't know, violent or anything like that, but just a very, maybe rage. I don't know if you can call it rage.
Would it be an accurate description to say that the anger that you displayed at times was disproportionate to what was taking place in a particular circumstance? I know that's a big English word, disproportionate.
I think so. And when I was in my anger, I even knew that it's wrong, but I wasn't able to stop. And afterwards, I felt sorry about that. And
sure.
I mean, when kids are disobedient, you can know what is the right answer to that. But I'm pretty sure that was inappropriate.
So then I called everybody up who felt like they dealt with various disproportionate anger to various circumstances. And for those who felt like that could be them, might be them, we didn't know for sure, but come up and we'll pray. And so you came up and walked you through some prayers of forgiveness, obviously for those who had offended you, first time you really displayed a level of rage and anger. And then we also began to command a spirit of anger to come out of several people in the room. It wasn't just you. What happened to you? And then what has life been like since?
I mean, I felt I had a heavy breathing, and I started to cry. And I think it shook me a little. Can't remember in that detail, but I was. It was clear for me that something left me, and afterwards, it never has been in that way it was before. So I never got angry in the same way, even if the situation were there, but the reaction was different.
And Iris, I imagine your observation of your husband since then is also helpful. What have you experienced since then?
Yeah, it's changed. Yeah, especially those were moments with the kids. When, yes, the kids know how to push your buttons, and then sometimes you as parents you get angry. And
I don't know. I've met your kids. They're like the sweetest people in the world. There's no way.
Yeah, and so it definitely changed. Yeah.
Now I find this funny because Iris, you're the one who kind of drug Markus to this event. You felt like you needed some deliverance, and here's Markus getting delivered. How did you feel about that?
That was great.
I mean, in those days, I guess I get a deliverance 4 or 5 times. So I know it was a lot of stuff going on
so
there.
You brought a lot of hitchhikers with you, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, so then I got to come to Austria this summer. That was over almost a year ago, I think. It was a year ago, or maybe 8 months ago. I can't remember how long.
In Latvia. In August. Yeah.
It was in August. Okay. And so here I am 9 months later, 10 months later, and we're doing a conference there in Austria. And then I got to pray, my wife and I got to pray with you both. And Iris, tell us about what happened with you when we prayed with you.
Yeah. So we were praying through quite a few things where I thought there might be something, because over the last months, I wrote down things where I felt like this could have been open doors for demons, which could have come in through these doors. And so we prayed through a few of those things. Nothing really manifested. And then we were praying for a few things. I don't know if I can share too much, but
uses little or as much detail as you'd like. Don't feel obligated to share more than you're comfortable with.
I just want to say since my ancestors have committed, so not since I have committed, but since I know about my ancestors, and I felt something happening inside of me, but not really. So we weren't quite sure what was happening. And then Markus had this picture in his mind, kind of like a vision of a uterus, and also a second vision of an endometrium, like building up and then going down again, like you have during your menstruation. And that meant something to me because that's a problem I've always had during my adult life.
What do you mean? Like when you say adult life, when and what was the problem?
It started when I got my period. So I had endometriosis, and I've also always was in heavy pain during my menstruation, and also I always had heavy bleeding. Okay. So when I say heavy bleeding, it really is not normal. It is very, very heavy. And
so
that's why I need to have...
Would it be fair to say you've never known what it's like to have a normal menstrual cycle?
Yes.
Since the day you started your period, it was always this way. And so you would compare it with others, and that's when you realize, oh, something's not right.
Yeah. And that's why I also got diagnosed for endometriosis. I had an operation and things like that, but I still had this pain every month, and also this heavy bleeding. And that's why I had to have iron infusions regularly, because I lost so much blood every month.
Oh, I don't think I knew that. I don't think I knew that you had to get iron infusions. I mean, I didn't know much of anything. I just know that we were kind of honing in. And I remember my wife and I, is it okay for I to say what we were commanding to come out of you? Is that a fair?
Yeah.
All right. So when Markus had that picture of your uterus, I had been previously saying, spirit of misogyny and spirit of violence come out, and nothing was really happening. But then after Markus had that picture of the uterus, I thought, okay, let's do a little more targeted prayer. And so I started commanding spirit of violence and spirit of misogyny to come out of the uterus. And that's when I began to see you shift as well. Do you remember what happened to you?
Yeah. So it felt as if something had come over me, and I felt as if something was inside of my rib cage and wanted to come out. So I started to breathe heavily, hyperventilating and coughing, and then I felt something leave. And afterwards, I had this strange sensation of tingling inside of my arms. And I felt free.
Yeah. And I think with the thing is, when it comes to something like that, it's really hard to know, what is the impact on a person after something like that happens. And when you say that you were hyperventilating, you were breathing fast, this wasn't something you were making happen. This was just something that was happening to you as we started commanding that to come out. But then what's been the results like after that? I don't know how else to not be personal about this. These kinds of questions in the States would be very personal. And so again, I appreciate your courage on this and talking about this. And I know it might be different there in Austria.
It is. No problem.
Yeah, so after the deliverance, I was really looking forward to having my period again, and I never thought that I would ever say that. And now I can testify that my period is totally different ever since. So there is no more pain. It's like zero pain, and that's totally new for me, and also no heavy bleeding at all. So usually, I don't want to get into details, but during my first night, I usually like have stains on my PJ, and so it's such a bad bleeding, even though I have different precautions. And now nothing. It's just so different. I feel like a new person. I really do.
Yeah, and this was it's been, I guess, what, a month and a half. So you've had 2 menstrual cycles since we were there in Germany.
Yes.
Or sorry, in Austria. And so there's also no way for you to know for sure that you were healed of endometriosis, because in order for us to know, there'd have to be something done by a doctor, right?
Yeah, I would have to have an operation. That's the only way you can be sure of diagnosing endometriosis. And yeah, but what
and
I
you know this because
sure,
you're also a doctor.
yeah. But what I know for sure is that the heavy bleeding is gone. That's what I really know for sure. And my doctor wanted me to have an operation for the bleeding. My doctor wanted to remove the endometrium from my uterus because I bled so much each month, and I would have had the operation now, and I could cancel the operation.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so, and not only have you experienced some freedom, but also your kids, one kid in particular. Do you want to share that?
Yeah. So our daughter, she's been having a fear of heights, especially when she went up stairs where you can see through. She could hardly do that, and also like other things, including heights. So last year we went to Italy on vacation, and we went to a fortress where you could walk on the, I don't know, like almost the walls of the fortress and look down. And she could hardly do it. It was very scary for her. And this year we went to Croatia, and we went to an almost identical fortress. And this year, like, there was no fear at all. It's totally gone. That's what she says.
So I didn't even know about this when we started talking today. My son and I were hiking on Saturday, and he was actually saying, "Oh, it'd be great if your daughter was with us, because then we could test to see if she still had a fear of heights." And I said, "Oh yeah, that would have been awesome." And then today I find this out just in conversation with you guys that this has happened. So that's so great. Was there anything else that you wanted to share?
So our daughter had, when she was 6 years old, we were in Thailand, and she had to throw up in the rental car, and it was a very traumatic situation for her.
Was this like a food poisoning or just like a virus of some sort?
Probably, we don't really know. It was severe, and it was very traumatic for her, especially. And so when we came back from Thailand, she developed almost a fear of eating. So at a point she even stopped to eat because she was so afraid of having to throw up. And she also developed a fear of disease in general. And it was a strange fear, because if maybe a person only had a cold, she would immediately be afraid of maybe having to throw up. So it was any kind of disease, or or if someone's had, I have a
stomach ache.
Yeah.
She would
she ran to her room.
She ran to her room. She left the room because she was so in fear that someone else is throwing up.
Yeah. I didn't pray with your daughter, so I don't know what happened here.
When we were in Latvia, we also learned that demons can sometimes come through traumatic situations. And so it occurred to us, like, maybe that's what's happening. And also our daughter went to a psychologist for a whole year without any change. So nothing helped. And when we came back,
and you're not saying therapy is bad or swearing that off. You're saying in this situation, it's just nothing changed. Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, she had it for 6 or 7 years, so it's a long time.
Yeah. And so we came back, and then we explained it to her, and then we prayed with her, and we commanded the spirit of fear to leave. And in that moment, she felt a gagging, and ever since, the fear is gone.
That's awesome. So she's not, as far as eating, as far as like fear of throwing up, that's been gone. And the beauty of this is you prayed for this. This wasn't, which I try to tell people all the time when it comes to this, because I teach on this stuff a lot, and people will think, oh, we'll only see this happen when Michael comes to town. And it's like, well, no, that's the whole point of this is that you freely receive, freely give. This is the work of Christians, not just some super Christians out there. So you guys were the ones who prayed for her.
Yeah. Right. And we've been praying with, quite a few people, and we've seen demons leave.
Yeah, I imagine this is not a common practice in Austria where you live.
No,
is that right?
We've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you got a lot of work to do because there's nobody doing it. And so I imagine, has this been this transition, I would imagine, hasn't been easy for you guys. Have you experienced like people coming against you, disagreeing with you, any kind of like pushback from family or friends?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, that's the reason we have to leave our church, because the church said this is against the scripture, and they wouldn't tolerate it if we do it in the church. And so we now have to leave. And people we know for years, and they are now on distance. So this is...
So to embrace this practice, so to embrace this practice, I mean, in many ways, it also means those that are uncomfortable with this, they don't want to talk to you. Now, have they given it a fair hearing? Have they sat down and spoken with you and heard these stories and testimonies, gone through the scriptures with you? Or has it just been like, carte blanche, I just don't want anything to do with this?
I think in our church, we had the opportunity to talk with them, but when the point came, when they say, okay, we can't see that is in the Bible, then they wouldn't be interested in the testimonies, because then they say, okay, without a proof from the scriptures, that could be anything, even from the devil. So like the scripture where the Pharisees come to Jesus and they say, okay, you
cast
demons out
by Satan.
By Satan. So,
Yeah. So the thing that you're experiencing is no different than what the Lord experienced. They think, oh, this could be a demon casting out demons or giving these kinds of experiences. They're trying to explain away on some level what's happened. I take it that, do you have any regrets about coming to Latvia and about where things are with you and your family? How do you feel about all of it today? Iris, you got a huge smile on your face. You're like, no, not a chance.
No, there is no regret. No,
Yeah.
I mean, especially, it not even that I think it's true. I also experienced by myself, and I see it since then at a lot of people. So a lot of people get delivered, and things changed. That with our daughter, we prayed for years for her, and now we make a deliverance, and in an instance, the thing is gone. And so I mean, I never thought I mean, if you asked me 2 years ago, I would, have laugh about you, or but, things have changed.
Iris, what about you?
Yeah, I would go back to Latvia in an instant. Yeah, it's made such a difference for me personally, and also for us as a family. So much more freedom, and I'm so grateful to God for everything He's done and for the freedom He offers us. And it saddens me that so many Christians don't take that offer from God because they say it doesn't line up with my theology.
Yeah. And I love theology. I love that your church wanted to see this stuff in the scriptures. I think it is right and good to seek the scriptures to find out. I mean, this is what was commended about the Bereans, is they went back and they investigated in the scriptures to find out if these things were true or not. The tough thing about this particular issue is people still, no matter what, no matter how much investigation they do in the scriptures, they still find themselves on opposite sides of the spectrum here. I came to the conclusion that God was doing these things in the scriptures long before I ever saw my first deliverance. So for me, the reverse was true. Like it started with the scriptures, and then I came to that conclusion, which I guess, for Marcus, that was similar for you. You came to Latvia,
Yeah.
you were skeptical of these things. You weren't really going, oh yeah, this is a thing. You were kind of like, I don't think so. But then we went through the scriptures, and you came to another conclusion, and then you experienced the truth of those scriptures, which is
Right.
what I wish would happen for others that and I'm sure it's been painful to have to do this, but super thankful that you guys are willing to share your testimony, and super thankful that you're now not just sharing the good news about what Jesus has done for you and your family, but you're also now helping helping others receive the freedom that Jesus has also purchased for them. And so would you have any final things you want to share for the Remnant audience?
So if you're in Austria and need deliverance, call us.
I love that. Iris, any closing thoughts?
I would just say, yeah, if you have a feeling that there might be something like it was for me, I came to Latvia because I felt like I might need deliverance, then go find someone who is willing to pray with you.
Awesome.
Yeah, and one more thing. The beauty in this entire thing is that when we pray together, we felt how the body of Christ is working, and the different gifts are working together. So someone is praying somewhere, someone is hearing, and that was pretty cool to. And I think the fellowship that that was created through these things were awesome.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And we've got a conference for the Remnant Radio that's coming up in October, where we hope to be able to do more of this stuff and train others to be there. So obviously, I extend the invite to you. I know it's a long way from Austria, but it'd be fun to see you there. And thank you again for taking time to do this.
You're welcome.
Welcome. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, what a tremendous testimony. And there's a lot more where that came from. We hope to continue to release some testimony videos here on the YouTubes to, encourage, strengthen you, help you have confidence in the power of Jesus, his delivering power, his healing power, his saving power. So we're going to continue to create content like this. We've been doing public speaking for a really long time now, all three of us, but then also, have had a lot of opportunities to do conferences with Remnant Radio. We've been doing them, I think, since 2023. And now, as we are continuing to grow and seeing people get delivered and healed. If you've got testimonies like this that you want to share from whether it be a conference or maybe one of our speaking engagements there at your local church, I'd encourage you, leave a comment in the bottom of this video. Talk about your story about being healed, delivered, or receiving a prophetic word, experiencing the power of the Spirit, and using spiritual gifts for yourself. I think those testimonies would help strengthen and encourage and build up the viewing audience. And if you're out there and you want to grow in this stuff, don't forget our conference this October in Houston, Texas, October 2nd through the 4th, there in the Woodlands, specifically right outside of Houston, Texas. It's going to be a really great time. You can go register over at theremnantradio.com. Guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.